Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk NMB. Just for purposes of the background, this was introduced as a lunchtime way, just a middle of the day opportunity of communicating what we're doing during COVID, and inviting and talking to some guests in terms of some of the things that they've done in the community and the ways that they're involved in the community. So the city manager normally hosts this, Esmond Scott. He is not available now, and he's involved in a couple of other, putting out a couple of fires. So I'm Horace McHugh, Assistant City Manager, and I'd like to go ahead and welcome you and thank you all for participating. Um, First of all, I'd like to acknowledge and thank Commissioner Smucker for being on here. And during the course of the time, I think several commissioners may jump on. But our guest today is Tania Bonilla Gutierrez, and I'd like to welcome her. She is the general manager from KFC. So once again, Tania, thank you very much. You may want to just tell us a little bit about you and some of the things that you're doing in the community.
All right, thank you for having me. My name is Tania Bonilla. Like you say, I've been working with KFC for 13 years now, and I running the store that is in 138 Biscayne Boulevard, North Miami Beach. And I am currently working with 3 of the other stores in 163rd and 15th Avenue, and the one in Miami Gardens. Oversee those operations as well with my boss. Since the pandemic started, we've been trying to work with the community, helping them around. Um, we have something that is we call 45 days of giving from KFC. And what it is helping or surprising what we call, or that I call, the essential workers. So we grab a couple of buckets of chicken, we side orders our delicious biscuits, and we surprise them with lunch. We did a couple around the community. We did 5 departments, police stations, and urgent cares. Like the ones close to my store per se, it was urgent cares, the police department close the courthouse. And then we had any police officers or any person in uniform, essential, we had free lunch on us. Either drive through or coming, they were wearing a uniform, it was lunch on us. That was something like saying thank you for doing what they were doing, unstoppable, unstopping. They were doing what they do, and we were saying thanks. That was
Well,
from
that's
us to
certainly
them.
quite a commitment. That's certainly quite a commitment. Is that something that's just from your store? Is that something regionally that is being done by KFC?
From KFC. It was 45 days of KFC saying thanks.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
yeah,
We
that's great.
continue doing something little per our store, per our market, per KFC, based on different stores, but we're still saying things in our own ways. You can come into my store and we say saying things and during different shifts. We have couple stores like I've been in my store for 10 years plus in that specific store. So there's customers that they know me and they go like, I know somebody that they don't have something to eat today. And it
Okay.
gets to your heart. So we prep a couple of boxes or a bucket and we send it off to them. And they have something to eat today. And we can worry about tomorrow. And it's because COVID, because they don't have a job and they don't know what they're going to do tomorrow. So we do that for them. And I know every KFC is doing the same to do their part. And we try to do that because we are here for the community. And I want to emphasize on that. We are here for the community.
Now, I picked up on that you're very community and civic minded, because not only doing this to benefit the first responders, but kind of getting to know your community, knowing the people in the community, the people who need some attention, need some help, need some care. So that too, I guess, says a lot about the type of community engagement that the store as well as KFC is involved in.
Yes, we are. And we try to do that because Colonel Sanders was like that. He was
That's
on that. That's our history, that's our legacy. And we try to carry on.
good. Now, I know you were involved in a particular project to somebody or a family in Highland Village. You want to tell us a little bit more about that?
I'm sorry, what?
I say I know you were involved in contributing to a particular family that had experienced a loss in Highland Village. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
I
Are you able to talk a little bit more about that?
I love to remain silent on those, givings that we do, because when you give is for the giving, not saying, but yes, we were involved. We heard about it and we love to help.
Okay,
And
okay,
we did.
okay. So
And
maybe what we could just say is that you saw a family who was in need, who had experienced a tremendous loss, and
and we help.
and you helped, yes.
And we
And I
help.
think yeah, that was an epitome of maybe how you can reach, how you can touch, how you can care, and how you can show it. And certainly that's something that we appreciate.
Yes. We do what we can. And it feels good knowing that we help somebody that it needed at that time. And
That's
if we learn that somebody else is in need, we're going to help. So if any of you know about somebody that needs our help, we're gonna get in there and help you. We are there.
That's good. Now, you mentioned that you've been with this location for 10 years. How long have you been, with KFC? And just tell us about your career in KFC.
Yes. It's around 13 years overall in total. This next January, I believe I'm gonna be 10 years in this location. I was on and off, and finally they let me here. I started from the bottom and up. Um, I have my little struggles until I landed in this store. And to be honest, this is the one that I love. I've been to Fort Lauderdale, Dania Beach, Hallandale, 163rd, uh,
Oh,
Calle Ocho, and then here. So this is the one that I
okay, excellent.
actually got my heart. So I've been here for 10 years, and so far I've been there. Hopefully I'm gonna continue there. Um, I was shift supervisor and assistant manager. I am a store manager. I am helping my boss to see 3 stores. I'm in the process to hopefully, God willing, move up a little bit in future coming up, and God knows where more. Yes.
I think that your heart seems to be well aligned to the philosophy and the community and civic engagement that KFC has. So I think that seems to be a very good match, and we certainly appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do want to say something about a KFC policy regarding COVID-19. I was talking to Mr. Gregory Williams, and he knows about KFC, hand washing policy and all that stuff. We were talking a little bit, and we do all those things already, taking precautions about that, and we always have an extra step, and we are prepared, and we're taking care about our customers and our employees. And just to let you know, I don't know if this is going to be seen or not, just for right now, I know that we have a couple of restaurants that they're being open, the lobby to sit in and dine in with them.
Mhm.
As it is right now, we are not open to dine in, and this is only to take care and for this our customers and our employees as well. And this is just an extra step that KFC is taking to for the safety of, like I said one more time, for our employees and our customers. So we are not open for the dining just yet.
Right,
None of
right.
our facilities are. So it's just come in, we going to take care of you, place your order, and you just gonna enjoy it at your home. You know, this is one extra step for
But
the
even
safety.
the dine-in or the drive-through or the takeout feature, I guess the store had to make several adjustments to be able to
Yes, we did.
accommodate that.
Yes, we
What
did.
are some of the adjustments you had to do?
Well, the hand washing, it was always there, so we just continue those. And we have the no contact with the customer, with the cashiers. We have the plexiglass, so we have the barrier in front of the customer, and also the gloves in every single person. We have the mask, the we have the credit cards, you know, the tap and go, though we don't have the access or the touching of those credit cards with the customers.
Okay.
And you know, the 6 feet apart where the customers come in, we're all not crowded. And thank God everybody else is using the drive-through. We don't have the
Okay.
crowded inside, so
Right.
we're doing good so far.
Right. Now, you mentioned that you had some conversations with one of our staff, Greg Williams, and he is also online here. And
Yes,
you mentioned that he knows a lot about the KFC policies. Uh,
yes, he does. He
I
does.
wonder how.
I am guessing that he was one of our team members at some point, and then he grew up just like I did.
Yeah, he's online, and he's one of our very valued employees who we treasure and love. And you know, we can tell then where he got the culture from. It seemed to have developed from KFC, because that's something that you know, we certainly treasure here and appreciate his efforts.
Yes.
So, in addition to what you had mentioned, the days of giving to the first responders, what other public efforts does KFC do within the community? What other types of activities?
Well, besides the 45 days of giving, that was a special. That was a special because of the COVID-19. But other than that, we always giving. If we know something that is going on, we always giving. We're not stopping. This is nothing new. This is not something that is new. This was something special during the COVID. Like I said, if we know that you are in need of our help, we are there to help. That's like a legacy that we have in between our communities. It is not only my store per se or the stores that I'm helping, it's all KFC stores. We are community oriented stores. So it's not only for COVID, it's always. We
Yeah.
hear about something, we are there to help.
Now, KFC has been around a long time with their secret sauce, secret recipes.
Yes.
How have how has the food, the menu, what changes have you made over the years to kind of adjust to different environments and different situations?
Well, according to the secret recipes, well, you know, I'm not going to tell you about those little secret recipes because I don't know them myself.
I was hoping I could get that out of you.
No, I can't even, I don't even know them.
She does, Tanya doesn't know the recipe. The recipe is locked up in the corporate office in Louisville, Kentucky, and she's probably been there before or at the training center in Louisville, and it's on the lock and key, and nobody knows it.
Okay.
Yes, we can say it's hidden. We don't know anything about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So how has your menu changed? I know you probably have some little chicken fingers and little other things that you've changed over the years. And how does that been?
Well, recently the only thing that it changed was that we transitioned to the French fries. But other than that, it's everything is the same and it's always finger licking good.
Okay. Okay.
So
And then
I
I
invite
know
you to
there.
come and see us and get a taste, and you're gonna love us.
Right,
And you come back and
right.
see us every single day of the week.
And then I know that you're a global entity. I guess you have the opportunity of traveling. As Greg just mentioned, Louisville, you know, and other places. How many of these locations have you had the opportunity of visiting?
I have a couple of them inside the USA, and recently, before all this started, I visited London and I tried one of the burgers that is over there. That hopefully soon is gonna be here. And the recipes doesn't change. And in inside United States, I have a few of them tried in different states, and they were also the same. They were also good. In different part of the United States, you have different customs. But there was one that I talking to my boss about it, that it was weird, or it was not weird but strange, that we went up to Alaska to a family meeting. Imagine that, right? A few years back, and we went to KFC because I like KFC. So I was buying lunch, cooking lunch, and I don't cook. So I went to KFC, and I went to buy lunch, and they have French fries. They didn't have potato wedges over there, and that was different.
Right.
Yeah, Alaska didn't sell potato wedges at that time. They have
Right.
French fries, but that was just a little different. Other than that, it was, like I said, one more time, finger licking good, like KFC.
Right. So I had mentioned earlier that one of our commissioners, Commissioner Smucker, was on, but now we have Commissioner Smith has also joined us. She had just come on. So I'd like to acknowledge them. There she is waving. Yeah. Now you have partnered, KFC has partnered with Taco Bell, or help us understand that partnership and how that works.
We are part of a group that is called Jumps, and it goes KFC, Taco Bell, Long John Silver's, Pizza Hut, and Pepsi. So we do have a couple stores that is KFC, Taco Bell. We do have a few of them in our companies. And there's another one that's KFC, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut, and there's another one that is John Long Silver's, and we carry Pepsi products. So that's what it is. Like my store does not carry Taco Bell, but there's fellow managers that they do have Taco Bells in their menu.
Okay.
But not mine. Yeah. Mine is base KFC.
Now, you had mentioned a number of locations that you had visited, Alaska and London, and you mentioned how much you loved working where you are now.
Yes.
Where would you see yourself? Where would you want to work? Where's your ideal location in terms of, working, if we had to find a location for you throughout the world?
Based on next year, my store, based on 5 years, probably in a different area, in a different position maybe, but that takes years, and that takes a little bit more practice, knowledge, and growing. So I'm not there yet, but hopefully, willingly, I will be.
Okay. Yeah. And that's also as you move up within the environment. But what are probably some of the unique qualities of KFC? You talked about some of them, and they're certainly admirable. But what are some of the unique, traits in KFC environment that the average person, or a lot of us, are not aware of?
I think that the first one that you have to be is you have to be persistent. And second of all, you have to be honest, and then you have to be hard worker, because you have to put in hours that nobody else wants to put in, and you have to do the work that nobody else wants to do. And at the end, you're going to see the results that nobody else is going to be seeing.
So I guess then that it would be an attractive place for youth. How does KFC promote the advancement of youth or its other employees within the organization?
You see, I am a faithful person that believes that promoting people has to come within. A few years back, in last year, I hired one person in specific, I'm not going to mention names, as a team member, as a cook. Within 6 months, this person became a shift supervisor, and that's the second highest person in there. And after that, it didn't take him a year to become my assistant. Okay. And before 2 years completed, he was moving to another store. So it doesn't take It's not gonna take you 5 years to move from the position that you are to where you want to be, as long as you want it to be somewhere else. It takes
Okay.
effort, persistence, and work and commitment to be where you are right now to go to where you want to be. So if you work hard and you are committed and you work and you're persistent with what you do, you will be where you want to be.
Okay. I think Commissioner Smith has a question or wanted to be acknowledged. Is that correct, Commissioner?
No, but thank you very much. I can always say thank you for being a good partner for North Miami Beach. That always comes to mind. And I can tell you, you know, when your name comes up of the store that you're working for, it's always been something that surrounds family. Get a bucket, you know, have a good time. That's the image that comes. And I didn't think that came without a lot of hard work. That doesn't just happen. It's a consistent reminder to the public that we're here to make your fun easy. And I thank you for being on today, and be safe. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Commissioner Smith. Commissioner Smuckler had a question or wanted to make a few comments also.
Yes, so I want to have bragging rights. Gosh, this was like over 20 years ago on a road trip. I can't even tell you where it was, but we were at the first Kentucky Fried Chicken ever. So I have bragging rights to that. I can't say anybody else on this, the participants, I can't say probably no one else has these bragging rights. But I also wanted to thank you for all that you're doing for our community. But it's not fair that you have us here listening, talking about the delicious food and like, where is it? Like, why aren't we eating it right now? Are you going to deliver to us? This is like
46 cordial invitation. We are located in 130 AM Biscayne Boulevard. You can come.
It's on my way home.
You see?
It's on my way home. I may have to stop.
You always just drive through or come in and pick up your order. That's it. Remember, there's no dining out right now, but you always come in.
Yes, and I also want to say I went bike riding the other day, and I was in Miami Gardens on 441. There's a Kentucky Fried Chicken. Is that one of the ones you manage?
We have 197 and 27th Avenue.
Oh, okay. Because I just had to say I needed to use the restroom, and I walked out and I said to my husband, that's the cleanest restroom I have ever seen in my life anywhere. You know, some people like have issues about using fast food restaurant bathrooms, but it was amazing. So thank you to Kentucky Fried Chicken for keeping up to the standards.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Colonel Sanders, and I think Tanya can agree with me. Colonel Sanders had an old saying: "If you got time to lean, you got time to clean."
Okay.
So, Tanya, have you ever met Colonel Sanders?
No, no, I didn't have the honor to meet him.
The Colonel died in 1980.
I was going to ask you, what are some of the least known secrets about him that you may want to share?
Well, that was one of them. So you always have time to lean. You always have time to clean. That's one. And then we abide by that. So if you see anybody doing this or leaning back, guess what? He's going to get a yellow towel or a blue towel, depends on what part of you are, and a cleaning solution to clean. Okay. And then the other one is that you always have to treat your customer right.
Oh, yeah.
Always. You have to treat your customer right. And because over that, that's when you're going to make everything possible.
Yeah. There's another thing, Tanya. One of the attributes that the Colonel had, he was an ambassador in the lobby. And so what he did, he would walk out to the lobby and he would do what we call colonelling. And so he'll come out to the lobby, he'll bring dessert, so he'll bring drinks, and he will talk to people. And we adopted that whole philosophy throughout of all KFC, and we call that colonelling. And so anybody who knows KFC or works for KFC, we know we have to colonel. We have to talk to the customers. We have to smile.
You have to smile. You have to Cornell on the lobby. Yes.
Right.
That's part of that's part of one of the things that we have to do.
Yes.
And then we do it with pleasure, because that way you get to know your customers. And that's where it comes when your customers comes to you and say, look, I'm having a hard time today. Do you think that you can help me out? And then when you say yes to that, you change somebody's day.
Yes. And there's a philosophy, we used to use it, it's called LAST. If there's a problem with a customer, you listen, you apologize, satisfy the customer, whatever it is. If it was the biscuits were not right, we give them a whole dozen of biscuits.
Yes.
Satisfied, and most importantly, thank them for coming. So we call that philosophy LAST.
Last. It was changed to please.
Okay.
You know, Mr.
Williams,
Mr. Williams, they unmuted me, and I'll tell you two things, if I may. My mother, may she rest in peace, she always taught me, the customer's always right. Even when the customer's wrong, the customer's right.
That's right.
But, you know, I wanted to say to you, Tanya, when we were down behind where you are on Biscayne 137th, and we went to see a family that had such tragedy, and we were just using your parking lot. The fact that you volunteered, you came out and said, let me give that family their meals for today with 2 bags, huge for that family. That to me is part of the whole psyche of your company. That to me says a lot. We didn't ask. You came out and said, we also want to participate. So that's who you are. And we, again, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to add that.
Thank you.
And thank you so very much, Commissioner Smith. And, you know, Tanya, we have a half an hour and the time runs by very, very quickly. So we appreciate the nuggets of wisdom that you told us about customer engagement, about cleaning, about, you know, listening and satisfying and thanking the customer, and about that community engagement, that, you know, it's one of the qualities of Kentucky Fried. So we certainly thank you for being on. As we close every day, one of the things we want to do is to highlight and emphasize a certain number and encourage engagement. So, you know, we'll throw that number out and we'll kind of ask you if you could give us some idea of what you think the number is. And that number today is 54.1%. Do you have any idea what number it is, or you have any idea what that may be related to?
54 what?
54.1%.
54, what number is that?
Yeah, what do you think?
That's what I was asking you. So let me answer the question. That's a percentage of our population, of our residents that have responded to our census. Certainly, we'd want that number to be 100%, because the more people respond, the more documentation there is, and the more you know, benefits that would accrue to the city. So we are highlighting that number of 54.1 because we really want it to be 100%. And we encourage people to respond, as many people as possible to respond. But not only that, but tell your neighbor to your left, and tell your neighbor to your right, and tell your neighbor across the street, and encourage them to respond to the census. So currently it's at 54.1%, and you know, we'd certainly throw that number out and encourage people to continue completing the census. But again, Tanya, we thank you so very much for being on here today, for your engagement and involvement with KFC and with the community. And you know, thank you very much, and goodbye to everyone.
Before you go, Horace, before you go, just one thing for Tanya. I got a bobbing head kernel. And these are souvenirs. I probably got about 12 of them in the box, and I got them years ago. And so it's a bobbing kernel.
That is so cool.
Tanya, I'll give you one. I'll come by.
And Greg, since you're doing show and tell, and let you know that I got a census mug to encourage everyone to complete the census.
this together.
Yeah. So thank you all for being online, and I'll see you tomorrow, where most likely the city manager will be back online hosting the program. Thank you.
Thank you so
And
much,
bye-bye.
all. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.